Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence. It keeps this channel ad-free. Hello, folks. Welcome to Ink Dependence. I'm Mike. This is Sheaffer Very Verde, Tre Verde, Muy Verde. Look, it's green. It's a green ink, y'all. I don't know if you got that from the names. It's green. Comes in this very nice box. These will go for 12 to 13 bucks online in various places. This does, as it says here, have the built-in inkwell like the old-timey Sheaffer bottles. It's a smaller bottle than the old-timey bottles, I believe. I don't have mine handy, but I have a few that have this feature. And you can see right here, this glass is the partition in the bottle that kind of goes like this. So what this is for is that when you get low on the ink in the main compartment of the bottle, you tilt the bottle this way and then tilt it straight up, and you'll have a whole bunch of ink in this little reservoir right here. I'm just going to tilt it back the other way so that when I open it, there's not a bunch of ink there, and I can show you more easily. There you are. You can see this. Whoops, got on my finger. That's okay. You can see this right here is the partition. I've been asked if you can get a good-sized nib in this inkwell bit, and the answer is yeah, you totally can. Regular, normal-sized nibs and stuff fit in there just fine. And this means that this bottle will be more easily usable for a longer time than some other bottles like this. I also want to say this cap is great. It is a really good cap, good like foam sealer thing there, and this little button in the middle connects that foam sealer stuff to the top of the cap so that the cap doesn't stick to the rim of the bottle. So when you uncap it, the stupid polystyrene or whatever sticks to this. You have to take it off, and it always gets ink on your fingers. You got to put it back in. It's a whole mess. This is like a silly little thing, but it's details like that that I really enjoy, and I hope things like that don't change with the recent acquisition or sale rather of Sheaffer to another company. Hopefully things only get better for Sheaffer going forward, but this ink line is extremely good. So there we have it. This is Sheaffer Very Verde. This is my usual 80 grams per square meter Rhodia paper. I'd say the flow in this ink is wet to maybe like a wet version of medium. Like it's not over the top, but it's not dry. It's a little more than usual. Really good. This is all coming out of a Lamy All-Star. This is the white silver edition from, I don't know, last year, I suppose. I really like the way this looks. It's so silvery. I dig it. But this has a medium nib, which is usually a little bit on the dry side, I think, for Lamy. I'm not sure why their nibs always feel a little bit dry to me, but they do. And this ink flows delightfully from this pen. You can actually see that I have... Oh, there we go. There's actually some ink in there. Good. I was like, I refilled this recently. It's got to have ink in it. Cool. Cool. It has been extra good in this nib, and I really enjoy that. So there you have it. Qualities, I just put greenness. I was doing this on Twitch live, and somebody's like, greenness. I'm like, yeah, good. That's the qualities. Because there is no shading to speak of. There's no sheen. None of those fancy schmancy things. This is a green ink. It is very green, and I dig that. So pretty darn good. Let's do our little water test. Look at our chromatography. Look at our other paper samples, and look at some inks that might be kind of close to it. And that'll be it for the review. Come on now. Sometimes this gets stuck, you know? It's wow, that did not go how I wanted it to. There you go. Get on the paper. Yeah, weird. All right, let that do its job. And then let's wipe it up, or rather blot it up. That's the safest way to do these things. Blot, blot, blot. A little bit up here, as you can see as well. Not too bad. Some of this green came up. There's a little bit left. I'm not going to say this is water resistant at all. It's it's pretty well gone. There we go. Okay, I didn't make too much of a mess of things. So yeah, pretty well gone. I wouldn't say this is water resistant at all, but you don't get a whole lot of water resistant greens. So if you're a person that needs their ink to be water resistant, I would say maybe don't aim at a green ink because you're probably going to be disappointed. Okay, so this is the chromatography here. As you can see, nothing left down here where it started out. Everything moved up the sheet. And it's got some interesting colors in there. We got a little bit of orange maybe, some nice light green, this bright blue line up at the top. Really interesting. I love that bright blue line at the top of inks. Love that. All right. So for papers, firstly, I have it on here. This is my Staples 20-pound, 30% recycled copy paper, and this is the bad paper that you will find in your office copier. But this does okay on there. You can see there is a little bit of what I call feathering, where you can see that it like makes little feathers outside the line, and the line is not nice and crisp because it got into the paper fibers and moved. And you can see that there is bleeding on the back, but you'll see that like all of these pretty well will have some bleeding. That's just a fact of the matter with this horrible office paper. There's a few that don't do that, but this is fairly typical. So kind of average on office paper, not amazing. And that's from a medium nib. This would be mitigated somewhat if you used a finer nib, but you know, there you go. All right. Next up, and here we have it on Domtar Bold 28, which is from Blank Slate Paper Company. You can see it did come through a little bit on here, which is not great. I don't really expect to see show through on this paper very often. This is a pretty fountain pen friendly paper, although not perfect like you know, older Rhodias and Tomoe Rivers and things like that we'll see, but pretty good. No real problems here on this paper. You see a feather every once in a while, but mostly it's pretty okay. You will also see here that it's pretty dark when it starts out, and I think that's just because it was a little bit dried in the nib, and then as I go, it just kind of turns into this is the normal color right here. Inks will sort of dry up in a nib, especially, you know, if it doesn't have a perfect cap seal, and Lamys are pretty good at that, but not perfect. So there's that green for you. I think it's a nice, outstanding green. Here we have Tomoe River. This is an ink journal. This is actually full. I inked this up back in February. There it is on Tomoe River. It looks really nice on Tomoe River. It has a nice bright green, but super readable, I think, color. Nothing weird going through the back. That would be very strange on Rhodia, or rather on Tomoe River. Lastly, we have my currently inked Inky Fingers. This is wheat straw paper, which you should get if you can find some. It's kind of like sugarcane paper a little bit, but here it is on this paper, and I think it looks great on this paper. This is the best it has looked because I think it soaks in more here than it will on Rhodia or Tomoe River, but it doesn't soak through or anything of that nature. Just kind of hangs out there. It looks very verde, and I like that a lot. Here is Very Verde on a Cullo ring, or rather a Cullo Dex. You can find these at Well Appointed Desk. There is a link in the description. Here is Pannonia Sichlant, which is Nettle. I got from Sugar Inks back in 2021, which is a slightly different green. You can see this one is a little bit more emerald than this one, which I think of it. This is just a pure green to me. Like, that's just a pure new grass green. This is a little bit more emeraldy. Then Kala's Sun Moon Lake, also from Sugar Ink. I really went heavy on greens there, didn't I? This one is a little bit more emerald than this, so we've got a little bit of a, there we go, we have a duology there. Then we have Twisby's Emerald Green, which I think is fairly close. This has a tone to it that you don't get here, which is brought out by this bit of sheen, but fairly close. Then we have Pilot Urshizuku Shinryuku, which I got a long time ago, 2013, goodness. And then Mont Blanc Irish Green, which is sort of a standard standout green. You can see it's a whole lot like Sichlant here. It's the same kind of tone, pure green, a little bit more emeraldy on the Very Verde, it turns out. So there you have it. That's Sheaffer's Very Verde. You can find this at a lot of stores online and that sort of thing. I bought this one from Goldspot a while ago, and it's been quite good. So I'd say check this out wherever you find Sheaffer inks, and let me know what you think. What's your favorite green ink? Hit me down in the comments. Also, click that like button, the subscribe button if you're not already, and you know, that's it. I will see y'all, or you'll see me in another video. Peace out.